Okay.
Yeah, the legs.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this Facebook streaming. WTA.
Help me identify. I know that now.
We're kind of getting ready for Michael when it comes. Safe Touch Security First Alert Live Radar still showing rain, heavy bands in the low country, Statesboro South, I-16, Springfield seeing some light stuff, and on the shores of McIntosh County, and spotty showers in the Richmond Hill area. So the setup here, you can actually see high pressure well to the northeast of us, and so that right there, and just a little trough, a little dip in the atmosphere. So just think when water kind of pools into a dip in the concrete or a tub per se, and then it just kind of spills over, or just kind of like, you know, a very large dip in the atmosphere just kind of pools the moisture right there. And there's the hurricane down there. And so let me see if let me just talk about the rainfall totals real quickly. Yeah, some of the rainfall totals today, let me tell you what, may actually be more than what we get from Hurricane Michael on Thursday. Seriously. So hour by hour, you can see the rain tends to end and lighten by midnight. This is a high resolution model. You could hear some overnight heavy downpours, maybe even some gusty winds, but for the most part, heading into Wednesday, a lot of us will be dry as a major hurricane will be making its way toward us. Let's talk about tides, because we do have a concern for coastal flooding. It's on the low end of the spectrum. I don't know if you could see it here, but our high tide at 9.5 feet, we never really reached it. And the record, of course, is 12.6 with Hurricane Matthew almost 2 years ago to the date. So here are first alert tides. Tuesday tonight, 9.5, right around in just about an hour. And Wednesday morning and Wednesday night, the next high tides, 9.3. Water starts to encroach the roadway, Highway 80, right around 9.4. So right now, we're going to keep an eye on that. And I have the current tides right now pulled up on my website. 9.3, Wednesday, 8.8, and Thursday morning, 9.3. But winds will be moving parallel to the coast, and so that doesn't actually mean a pooling of water. Let's talk about the wind forecast as we head into Thursday. These are sustained winds, okay? Here comes the eye of the storm. It's just kind of cool to see that. I'm stepping out of the shot. It's kind of cool to see that eye actually in a wind forecast as a kind of weather nerd here. Vidalia, 41 mile per hour sustained winds, Baxley almost 50 mile per hour sustained winds, and Douglas, Alma, Waycross, Hazelhurst, 20s and 30s across the coastal empire and low country, except for extreme Onion Country, Blueberry Country, down through Waycross and Hazelhurst. That's Thursday morning. Then look how the winds shift, and see they're parallel to the coast, so you're not getting that onshore flow when we talk about surge, the piling of water. So the winds will not be piling of water, and so you won't get the Tivoli River in Richmond Hill flooded. You won't see that flooding that we had with Irma, nor with Matthew, so that's good news. So as those winds start to shift, we're still looking at sustained winds in Savannah. 32 mile per hour sustained winds, 40 miles along the coast of Beaufort, and then by the evening, we're looking good. We'll get to wind gusts in just a bit. I put this in here, it was 86 today. So remember what I posted over the weekend? We're tracking a hurricane, and yeah, it's still going to be hot. It's still going to be warm and muggy tomorrow. 88 Jessup, 80% chance. Here we go. This is, you know, talking casually, our convective outlook for Wednesday. We're in a slight risk. Slight doesn't sound all that harsh, but when you're in an elevated risk yellow, thunderstorms, marginal with the darker green, you know, you could have a severe storm, thunderstorm warning, maybe an isolated tornado with marginal. Slight means several tornadoes possible Wednesday because we are on that right quadrant, the dirty side of the storm. So this is a concern for us tomorrow. So I can't pinpoint when. And so basically this is your tornado watch, okay? And sometimes, and you and I both know, you and I all know that sometimes we don't get a warning. And if it's in a rain-wrapped area, we're just going to have to, you know, rely on viewers and rely on kind of ourselves because the National Weather Service, you know, sometimes misses it. So we have to keep a close eye on the possibility of tornadoes tomorrow, okay? And that also includes Thursday, convective outlook for Thursday. Not so much south of the Altamaha, right here. We get out of the woods a little bit for Brunswick, Hinesville, Long County, Toombs, Tatnall, even half of Bullitt County. But Thursday morning, overnight, unfortunately, we're still tracking the potential for tornadoes in the Low Country and really just along south of I-16 through Bryan and portions of Liberty County and all of Effingham and the Low Country. So there you go. So let's go ahead and track this. I know a lot of people maybe, oh, I turned my phone off. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's go ahead and track as it moves, makes landfall. So, let me turn this down. 1 p.m., potential landfall just south of Tallahassee. This will be moving into Georgia. Right about here is when it potentially loses its hurricane status into a tropical storm. Watch as it moves close to our, look at this, some of this rain setup that almost just misses us and kind of skips over us, and then it continues to move through South Carolina. So like I said, we potentially have 1 to 4 inches of rain. A heavy rain band could set up locally in your area, but look how fast it moves. So this is not a flooding event like Harvey or Florence, but you know, a 2 inches in a half an hour, you're talking about urban flooding. So we know that MLK Victory, anywhere that floods in Richmond Hill, you know, 144, 278 in the Low Country. We had some ponding of the roadways and 2 lanes were closed on Fording Island Road. William Hilton near Arrow Road this evening. So yeah, so that'll continue to move, and I think I have the track. No, I don't. Let me show you some of the rain bands coming in on Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. So we'll continue to watch. Wednesday, we get a big break in the action. It's already made landfall at 4:30. We get a little rain band right here. I said a little rain band, but through Appling County, through Bacon County, back toward Brunswick. Then and 7:30, we're still kind of dry, kind of just waiting for it, right? So here it comes. A little bit better idea. 6 a.m. Thursday, eye of the storm moving over. Excuse me, not the eye of the storm, but we're looking at heavy rain bands from Macon all the way through Scriven, through Effingham County, 6 a.m. Thursday morning, continuing to kind of spread out. Some of the heaviest rain from Charleston, just outside our viewing area, the Low Country, setting up for, you know, a possible heavy rain band early in the morning, and this continues to push off. And the rain could be over for the Coastal Empire and Low Country as early as 5 p.m., but the winds will remain. So there's the 8 o'clock update for Michael, 125 mile per hour winds, making landfall sometime Wednesday, around lunchtime, 1 p.m., give or take. 125 mile per hour winds when it makes landfall. So that's about 5 mile per hour wind short of a Category 4. So it's a high-end 3 at this point, and it could be a 4. But as you see, as you see, it's a tropical storm in southwest Georgia. So the transition is fast, that's good, and it moves quickly through here. Just the gusty winds is a main concern for power outages and such. I'm seeing a couple of questions on here. I don't know about any schools, so I don't know about any schools except for what's on our website, WTOC.com. Actually, Dave got an alert from Chatham County. Wednesday schools are still open. They still have not made a decision about Thursday, but several counties already have. So check WTOC.com. And isolated tornadoes is correct. How you doing? Hard wind rain about. Yeah, a large tree. That's unfortunate, Janine. Yeah, and Janine says a large tree limb fell in her house, and really sorry about that. And that's the main concern with Thursday with this storm. Large tree limbs, power outages, and I'll show you the power outage map. So we're all under a tropical storm warning. Southwest of us under that hurricane watch. Here's where it transitions somewhere along I-10 as it makes its way through toward Macon and continues toward Augusta. But you say, oh, this is one thing I think a couple people may have questions about. Savannah out of the cone of uncertainty. However, the tropical storm force winds extend out 175 miles, and this right here is only about 75 miles. So tropical storm force winds well into the Atlantic. So that's why we have to be concerned about that. Let's talk about the wind gusts here, and we'll go slowly. We're talking about those easterly winds right now, right? Not from Michael. We've got high pressure in the Atlantic, juxtaposed to a very large hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. So yeah, there's a pressure difference, which is causing some of our winds right now, but the rain definitely from a little trough offshore. So as we head into Wednesday into Thursday morning, 12 a.m., these are our wind gust forecast. We're sitting 20 to 30, okay? We pause it here at 4 a.m. Then we start going up to 20 to 30, 35 in some cases. This is 4 a.m., 8 a.m. So things are starting to disintegrate quickly, right? 4 to 8, check out your city. Can you see? If your city is not represented on this map, take a city that's maybe a 25-minute drive from you. It'll be very similar. Sometimes it's difficult for us to squeeze all the cities in. So this is kind of a general representation of all the cities out there. And so look along the US 1 corridor, US 1 278. We're talking about Thursday morning wind gusts, possibly 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, Vidalia, Baxley, Alma, Glenville, Jessup, Hinesville, Statesboro, and Sylvania. Then we go into the 10 o'clock hour. Not much has changed. So a prolonged, severe wind event, all right? And these are still tropical storm force winds. It goes up to 74. I don't think we're going to see any of those. Thursday at noontime, back down to the 50s, so not above 50, but we're seeing 45 mile per hour wind gusts along the immediate coast, Savannah, Springfield, all the way down to Brunswick. Nahunta, Waycross, you're starting to slack off first as the major storm is moving out of Georgia and into the low country at that point. Then from 2 to about 5, things get much better and much more manageable as our wind gusts start to slack off into the teens, which is nice to see, and the middle 20s. And I think from here up, here's the power outage risk at 8:15 p.m. So let me scale it back and see when we start to lose power. And it's interesting. Hang on for a second. I'm still here. It's interesting. All right. And let me put a pause point in here. So you're not going to see me, but you're going to hear me. Wednesday morning, it's possible for some places. We get into Wednesday evening. Let's pause it right here. Can you see that? Unlikely, some possibles out there. Alma, Jessup likely. Wednesday overnight, pause it right here. Pause it right here. And then we'll play it out. So Thursday, power goes out possibly for Vidalia, Hazelhurst, Alma, Jessup still likely. We're talking about infrastructure problems because of the lines that are not underground. So Beaufort already Thursday, even though the storm is still making its way through southwest Georgia. Likely in Beaufort, likely Hilton Head, likely Richmond Hill, likely Savannah, still possible in some other locations. And as it heads through the rest of the afternoon, some remain possible and others likely. I think some of these should be likely. So, you know, this is not an exact science as far as power outages go, but you get the drift, right? Widespread power outages. Let me see if I can answer any questions. Oh, there's a lot of them. What's up, Sherry? How are you doing? Taylor Atia watching. How you doing? I hope that there's no tornadoes either, but I just want to let you know that, you know, we don't issue watches or warnings for tornadoes. But the best thing that I could tell you about this is that basically at this point in time, I'm going back a couple of things, basically at this point in time on Wednesday, pretty much all the WTOC viewing area will be under, this is your watch, okay? So it's not issued just yet, but this is the best lead time that you're ever going to get for possible tornadic event. You know, we could tell you a couple of days in advance, but this was a couple of days in advance actually. But so Wednesday, slight doesn't look like a lot. You know, it's not enhanced or moderate or high, but this is, and I don't want to compare, a similar track to Hermine, and we had the Skidaway Island tornado for Hermine, and we had some trees on houses in several other places. But the tornado on Skidaway is what I'm referring to as far as that. And I think we even had a couple of tornadoes with Matthew. However, some of them weren't even warned. So unfortunately, when you have a large-scale event like a hurricane, like a tropical storm, sometimes the warnings don't get out fast enough, or they're so focused on the large event itself that, you know, it just happens. It just happens. And sometimes it's not even put in the final report. So we still have a tornado risk on Thursday for Savannah, Richmond Hill, portions of Hinesville, into the boroughs, Scriven, Effingham, the Low Country. Oop, sorry. Let me see. Yeah, Morgan, you know, the risk is 2 out of 5. So, you know, if this is your general summer thunderstorm chance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're still 2 out of 5. It's possible anywhere. So hopefully we don't get an outbreak. But I remember during Irma, when we were tracking that, we did have a couple of warnings, and I'm not quite sure if anything touched down or not. But these little spin-ups happen very quickly when you have something huge rotating, and then you have bands. And these upper level winds get down to the surface, and so they can spin up very quickly. So Morgan Lee, I'm glad I could answer that. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you too. And if there's any other questions that I can help you with, you can hit up my page at WTOC Jamie. Hopefully, if I'm going to go through I'll go through this hour by hour once again. And some of the rainfall, like I said, today could be some of the biggest rainfall that we see, not even from Michael. So we get some rain bands coming in. This is Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Maybe one right here and well to the south of us, some of the heavy rains with this storm. I mean, we're talking about a good stretch, a prolonged wind event, and no rain comes out of it until maybe 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. You know, that's a rough estimate. And then just some outer bands continuing to work through the coastal empire and low country, lighter rain, but the heaviest stuff already moved through South Carolina by the afternoon. So, I mean, it's very much possible that some locations, especially closer to the coast, may not see as much rain as we did today. You know, we just had a setup where moisture just streamed into the coastal empire and low country. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll try to post some of the wind gust graphics to my page just to get you a better idea of, you know, what to expect and what time. And we'll go with the worst case scenario because I want you to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. But it is going to be a prolonged wind event, and we are going to see power outages. I know it for sure, and I know that hopefully, I hope that everybody is prepared. And if you have any other questions, you can hit me up on my page at WTOC Jamie. Otherwise, see you at 11. Thanks.